section for the UPR of Lao People's Democratic Republic. The Troika for this report consists of the representatives of Brazil, Qatar and Côte d'Ivoire. I give the floor to Mr. Al-Muhannad Ali Al-Hamadi from the Permanent Mission of Qatar, who on behalf of the Troika will introduce the recommendation section of the UPR of Laos. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege to present on behalf of the Troika composed of Brazil, Côte d'Ivoire and Qatar, the draft report of the UPR Working Group of the Lao People's Democratic Republic, distributed under document symbol A/HRC/WG.6/21/L.4. During the interactive dialogue with the state under review held on 20th January 2015, 73 delegations delivered their statements and 8 states sent advanced questions. As a result, the Lao People's Democratic Republic was addressed a total of 196 recommendations. At this point, I would like to introduce oral amendments to Recommendation 5.17, which should read as follows. Consider ratifying the Convention on the Rights of Migrant Workers and their Family Members, a recommendation by Indonesia, as well as to Recommendation 5.192, which should read as follows. Strengthen cooperation with the UNHCR in order to adopt legal and administrative measures to guarantee respect of the principle of non-refoulement and to ratify the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees, a recommendation by Argentina. The Troika would like to thank the delegation of Lao People's Democratic Republic, led by His Excellency Mr. Phongsavet Beaufort, Minister Head of the President's Office, Chairman of the National Steering on Human Rights, as well as other delegations for their constructive and active engagement in the process and in the preparation of this report. We are pleased to report that the Lao People's Democratic Republic will examine all 196 recommendations and will provide its response thereon not later than the 29th session of the Human Rights Council in June-July 2015. The Troika would also like to address its thanks to the Secretariat for its active support during the entire process. With this in mind, the Troika submits the orally amended report to the working group for adoption. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you for your presentation and for the work of the Troika. Before adopting the recommendation section of the draft report, I would like to recall again that as per new practice, the entire report, including the summary section, will be circulated on 6 February. All delegations will therefore have until 13 February to make editorial changes related to their own statements in the summary section of the report. All editorial changes to the summary section should be transmitted to the Troika through the Secretariat at the usual address. However, any comments on the recommendation section need to be made from the floor now. Are there any comments on the recommendation section? That is not the case. I propose that the working group adopts the recommendation section of the draft report on the UPR of Lao People's Democratic Republic. The section report is herewith adopted as orally amended. May I recall that as per usual practice, Lao People's Democratic Republic should indicate in due time a clear position on the outstanding recommendations and at the latest at the 29th session of the Human Rights Council in June 2015. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Phongsavet Beaufort, Minister, Head of the President's Office, Chairman of the National Steering Committee on Human Rights, for any final remarks he may wish to make. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Mr. President, distinguished delegates, on behalf of the Lao delegation, I would like to express our deep appreciation to Troika, Brazil, Côte d'Ivoire, Qatar, and the UPR Secretariat for their hard work on compiling the draft report of the UPR Working Group for the LaoPDR. The UPR session for the LaoPDR has been going smoothly. there has been a constructive and meaningful engagement between the Lao delegation and the members of the Human Rights Council and other member states of the United Nations. I would like to express sincere appreciation for the objective and constructive assessment and the recommendation that the delegation have made on the promotion and protection of human rights in the LaoPDR over the past 5 years. These recommendations are very useful and encouraging for us, which will help the LaoPDR to further enhance human rights of its people. During the interactive dialogue, the Lao delegation provided further information to the command and respond to the particular issues raised and also to some of the advanced questions. I very much hope that those explanations and clarification from us could help the Human Rights Council and delegation to have a better understanding and obtain a more complete picture of our human rights in the LaoPDR. We understand that due to the time limit, the Lao delegation could not reply to all issues raised in the interactive dialogue and in the advanced written questions. Therefore, the LaoPDR remains ready to continue dialogues and engagement on human rights with all UN member states through the Human Rights Council, as well as through other multilateral and bilateral frameworks. The Lao delegation has studied and examined thoroughly all the 196 recommendations. Our intention is to bring all the recommendations to the capital, as we need to conduct broad consultation to seek input from all relevant ministries and organizations, as well as from all relevant stakeholders. Thereafter, the LaoPDR will provide response on the recommendation in the 29th session of the Human Rights Council in June 2015. Mr. President, the UPR session for the LaoPDR has been very useful for the country because the promotion and protection of human rights is a continuous and evolving process. Human rights would not be much meaningful if people still live in extreme poverty. Therefore, the priority task for the LaoPDR in the years to come is to continue effort to the implementation of the MDGs, the National Development Objectives, and to further reduce poverty of the people. We will continue to ensure that the country continues to enjoy peace, stability, and social orders, and these are all fundamental conditions for the people to enjoy the basic human rights. Mr. President, the LaoPDR regards UPR the most important and appropriate mechanism in the UN human rights system to objectively assess human rights practice of countries around the world so as to fulfill the duty of UN member states under the UN Charter on the universal observance of and respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms for all, based on the principles of sovereignty and equality, independence, mutual respect, and non-interference. The UPR also guarantees the principles of universality, objectivity, non-selectivity, non-discrimination, non-politicization, and avoidance of double standard in human rights consideration. The world is diverse in terms of political, economic, social, cultural, and historical realities. The LaoPDR is fully committed to the universality, indivisibility, interrelatedness, and interdependence of all human rights. We at the same time believe that human rights are best realized through relying on local institutions and legal frameworks, taking into account the realities on the ground and the aspirations of the people. Therefore, the LaoPDR attaches importance to dialogue, exchanges of experiences with other countries in the implementation of human rights so that we can learn from the best practice of international community in order to enhance the national promotion and protection of human rights of the people, in accordance with the UN Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the international and regional human rights instruments which one subscribed to by the LaoPDR. In conclusion, on behalf of the Lao delegation, I would like once again to thank you, Mr. President, for your excellent leadership, the Troika for their dedicated work, the UPR Secretariat for their technical support and assistance, the interpreters and translators and all the people concerned for their contribution to success of the UPR review or the LaoPDR. Once again, I would like to express sincere thanks to all delegation for their active participation in the UPR for the LaoPDR. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you once again, Your Excellency, your delegation, for their participation in the review, and I wish you all the best. We will proceed in a few minutes with the adoption of the recommendation section of the report on the review of Spain. Bear with me.